Before dawn on October 4th, 2025, two drones slipped under Ukraine's radar like shadows moving through fog. Silent, lethal. Their target, Shostka's railway station, 50 kilometers from the Russian border. Two trains waited, diesel and electric, packed with travelers half asleep, dreaming of Kyiv. No soldiers, no weapons, just ordinary people. That was enough. What came next was calculated. A double-tap strike. Hit once, wait for rescuers, hit again. Ukraine's exhausted air defenses could do nothing. These were Shahed 136s, Iran's deadly gift to Russia, each carrying enough explosives to tear steel apart like paper. Their mission? Not confusion, not intimidation, but pure calculated destruction. And they brought with them a trick Ukraine never saw coming. They came from the dark, silent shapes, launched from a Russian mobile platform somewhere near Kursk, 100 kilometers away. The Shahed 136s, rebranded by Russia as Geron 2, were designed for this kind of mission. Low, slow, nearly invisible. Flying at just 180 kilometers per hour and hugging the ground at 50 meters, they slipped beneath radar lines like shadows brushing the earth. Sumi's air defenses were already overworked, an exhausted patchwork of aging S-300 systems and mobile teams armed with man-pads. The Russians had done their homework. They knew every radar site, every valley, every patch of forest that could shield their approach. Each detail had been mapped, each weakness marked. At 4 a.m., as air raid sirens wailed, Shostka's residents woke to a faint buzzing, like a swarm of distant lawnmowers. The old Soviet P-18 spoon rest radars struggled to see the low-flying intruders amid city noise. The Russians had planned for that too. Then the drones split. One turned west following a river valley, the other slipped east, hidden by trees and terrain. Their paths weren't random, they were calculated, tested, perfected. The Shahed's signals hopped frequencies hundreds of times a second, shrugging off Ukraine's jammers. Their GPS and inertial systems held firm, guiding them toward one exact set of coordinates: Shostka's railway station. The western drone skimmed the horizon, using the Earth itself as a shield. The eastern one hid within the static of power lines camouflaged by the hum of everyday electricity. Ukrainian defenders scanned the skies with shoulder-fired missiles, but the night revealed nothing. The drones were out there, unseen, unheard, moving like ghosts through the darkness, closing in on their mark. At 4:30 a.m., the western drone emerged silently from the darkness, its thermal camera locking precisely onto the Kyiv-bound diesel train, glowing like a furnace in the cold pre-dawn night. The locomotive's engine, bright on the infrared feed, was an easy, unmistakable mark, a living target in a sleeping, unsuspecting city. Near the station, Ukraine's last line of defense, a small Zu-23 anti-aircraft gun crew caught the faint hum and swung their twin barrels skyward. The gun's optical sight, decades old, scratched and fogged with age, was no match for the low-flying, stealthy drone, hidden perfectly in the gloom. The Russian operator, likely seated in a command center miles away in Kursk, watched the scene unfold in real time through a satellite uplink. He saw the muzzle flashes, adjusted the drone's flight path with cold precision, and slipped it between two towering grain silos. 8 seconds to impact. The crew fired wildly, 2,000 tracer rounds ripping through the air, but every single shot vanished into the void, useless against the lethal machine. The Shahed struck the diesel engine dead center. Its 50-kilogram warhead erupted with a thunderous molten blast. A jet of glowing copper tore through the anti-drone mesh and pierced the fuel tank. The explosion sent a roaring 20-meter-high fireball into the sky, turning the platform into an instant inferno. Windows shattered violently. Shrapnel cut through steel and flesh alike. A 71-year-old man, still half asleep in his seat, never had a chance. The tracks split apart under the shockwave. Smoke filled every carriage. Survivors stumbled through fire and debris, their cries echoing across the station. Some clawed desperately at twisted metal. Others crawled through smoke thick enough to choke the strongest lungs. In a control room across the border, the operators watched the fiery glow bloom across their monitors. They had hit their mark, and as rescuers rushed toward the burning wreck, the second drone was already descending silently, hungry for the chaos it had been built to create. Flames still roared from the first explosion when the second drone came gliding through the trees, a silent predator in the smoke-choked dawn. It had flown farther, looping wide to remain unseen, its sensors fixed on the electric train standing idle beside the wrecked diesel engine. Below, chaos ruled. Firefighters fought the blaze, medics dragged the wounded, and railway staff searched through shattered carriages. No one saw what was coming next. Ukrainian defenders, jolted by the earlier blast, scrambled to reposition their launchers. A Strela 10 operator caught a faint heat signature flicker across his failing screen. Power was unstable. Half the city was already blacked out. Fighting sluggish hydraulics, he locked on and fired. The missile tore upward, leaving a streak of light through the smoke, but the guidance link faltered in the electromagnetic haze. It drifted off target and vanished. $50,000, gone in a blink. Seconds later, the eastern drone struck. Its warhead slammed through the roof of the electric train, igniting a storm of sparks and flame. Shrapnel cut through the platform like razors, throwing rescuers to the ground. Medics, who moments before were saving others, now screamed for help themselves. 10 were injured instantly. 3 children nearby were hurled by the blast. The explosion shattered power lines and water mains, plunging Shostka into total darkness. The smell of burning fuel and metal filled the air as the fire spread between trains. Far away, Russian operators watched the live feed glow red on their monitors. The second strike had done exactly what they intended: trap civilians and rescuers together in one deadly scene. Then came a chilling buzz overhead. Journalists filming the chaos heard it first. A third drone. It never struck, but the fear it planted was victory enough. By 5 a.m., Shostka's railway station lay in a haunting, suffocating silence, a graveyard of twisted metal and smoldering, blackened ruin. The diesel train's locomotive was a charred, burned shell, its carriages soaked in firefighting foam and smoke. The electric train nearby was gutted. Windows shattered, seats melted, blood streaking the floors and walls. Over 100 emergency workers battled relentless flames, their faces lit by the ominous glow of destruction, cordoning off the dangerous scene as the pale dawn slowly rose. The toll was brutal: 1 dead, 30 injured, including 3 children and 10 railway staff. Shostka's 70,000 residents awoke to darkness. No power, no water, no gas. Ukreslezhenitsia halted all trains, rerouting passengers by bus. The station, once a vibrant hub of life and movement, had become a deep scar on the city. The Shahed 136 drones exploited Ukraine's fragile defenses. They are launched from a rack system carrying up to 5 drones, use a liquid fuel engine for propulsion, and can loiter over targets for extended periods to enhance strike precision. Russian planners choreographed every detail: terrain masking, double tap timing, precise targeting, and calculated escape routes. Flying low, unseen by radar, guided by thermal imaging, the drones struck with surgical precision. Civilian trains became deadly traps, carriages twisted and scorched, lives shattered in seconds. Rescue teams faced chaos and danger with every step, yet the drones' meticulously calculated strike left no margin for error. Shostka's railway station was more than a target, it was a symbol. Broken, a lifeline severed, a city forced to reckon with terror. Tracks twisted, trains gutted, and thick smoke hung heavy over a population already stretched thin. The 2 passenger trains destroyed or heavily damaged in the attack were valued at approximately $1.5 to $2 million each, based on the cost of similar rolling stock used by Ukraine's railway system, with total losses for the trains alone estimated at $3 to $4 million, excluding additional damages to tracks, station infrastructure, and disrupted freight and passenger services critical to the region's economy. Emergency workers fought tirelessly, but the damage was done. A city's heart lay in ruins, its fragile rhythm silenced, leaving only haunting echoes of fire, fear, and despair. Quite evidently, Russia's campaign against Ukraine's railways near daily since August aims to strangle both civilian movement and military supply lines. Shostka, a key hub, was targeted to trap evacuees and disrupt frontline logistics. The double-tap attack, labeled terrorism by Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha, turned every air raid siren into a threat of death. President Zelensky revealed the burning trains and demanded Patriot systems. The strike came after a major October 3rd assault on Naftogaz facilities, part of Russia's winter escalation to break Ukraine's spirit. 2 drones, 2 precise strikes, 1 relentless wave of terror. Survivors in Shostka, bloodied, grieving, yet defiant, vowed to rebuild. Meanwhile, operators miles away celebrated their success. But the live stream footage told another story. Scorched trains, twisted metal, and wounded civilians. There was no victory, only calculated destruction, fear, and trauma left behind. The city's heartbeat stuttered, and the message was clear. Terror by design. Bye for now.